Welcome to the Winning Sometimes show, where Emiliano, Clint, and I share our joy and sometimes hatred for all things games, tech, and generally accuse each other of being wrong, even when we agree. But hey, what's a good debate between friends, right? That's right. I said it out loud. We are friends. Even though we may not have actually seen each other in real life, we're friends, and today we're actually going to kind of hash out how we became friends, why that matters, even though we don't kind of have some of the traditional hallmarks of being friends, you know, like we didn't go to high school together or college or whatever other school you may have, trade school. I'm sure there's other schools out there where people meet each other and like stay lifelong friends. I'm not good at making friends, so probably not the best person to ask. But yeah, we're going to talk about today how we kind of, you know, how the way we make friends has changed, you know, how it's different than it may have been 10, 20, even maybe even like 5 years ago. Well, with the world, it is like maybe even like a year ago, 2 years ago, whatever. So I know as far as how I make friends, it has changed a lot, but I actually wanted to toss it over to Emiliano real quick, because I know you had some thoughts about how making friends has changed and things like that. So what's kind of your thought process on modern day friendship? That sounds so weird to say.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Here, let's ask the question you're really asking, which is, Emiliano, are we actually friends?
Well, and actually, you said we haven't met, but actually,
he avoids the question.
Clint, yes, I will. Yes, we are. Sorry, but you and Clint have met face to face, and I've seen pictures of you guys touching. And it was beautiful.
I like how you phrase it that way, but
well, it's true.
So yeah, and what's
go,
funny, we met last month after having known each other for like 5 years or something like that. So
at least.
Yeah,
more than that. When did you join the tacos?
Crota's End.
That's 2014.
When Crota's End released.
That's 24. That's 7 years.
Yeah, I was what is it? Christmas Guardian is what they called it, I guess. Yeah, because Crota's End came out, or The Dark Below came out, and that's kind of when I got into Destiny, and I shortly found tacos thereafter.
Right.
But I don't remember like our first games. I think I have some streams of running King's Fall with No Face. I think I'll have to look them up, but yeah, I feel like it's been a long ass time. Like, you know, at this point there's maybe like 3 or 4 friends that I have, like that I've had since high school. You know, everyone else has been kind of a more recent, like through work really, or through, you know, through school, like through my kids' school, you know, or even, you know, recently also, our kids go to rec centers, so we met the parents there as well. So it's a lot of friend making nowadays is kind of proximity, you know, how close that person is to you depending on your location. And I feel like that's kind of how it used to be, you know, like growing up, you know, your classmates were your friends, you know, or like, and again, as a small kid in the playground, those would be your friends, you know. And like nowadays, I go to the playground, but because I'm an adult, you know, and I've made
as a
parent, and I've made other parent friends there.
Important distinction.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thought I'd make that for you.
I mean, and it definitely feels like the internet in general has kind of expanded our reach, whereas before it was like, you know, I would only make a friend with the person I could see, you know, or the person that was next to me. Nowadays, we're making friends, you know, around the world. I think right now my furthest friend is Steven. I've never met him, but I will say he's a friend. I mean, you know, we've talked, I feel like I've chatted at least once a week with him for the past 7 years, 6 years. You know?
Yeah. I mean, especially you talking about like proximity and things like that. As much as, God, I can't think of a non-cliche way to say this, but like the internet has made like the world smaller, because like legitimately, yeah, almost every day I talk to Steven in Discord, and that's like the 2 hours a day or whatever when the time zones line up where we're both awake. There's those little conversations that occur, and that's very. You tell that to someone, like if you were to tell someone, 100 years ago, it's like, oh yeah, one of my friends that I talk to every day is in New Zealand, and people are like, no, that's crazy. Like that's
How'd
insane.
You meet someone from New Zealand?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So, Emiliano, leave it to you to kind of ground us. You're having kids and like meeting people by proximity now. It's like that's not how I make friends anymore. Hasn't been for a long time. But would you say that there's a difference between the friends you make by proximity and the friends you make online? Like, do you have to be in person, and do you have to spend that like physical, like present bonding time? Like, is the bonding time spent like when you're with somebody physically better or worse than, not necessarily worse, it probably isn't worse, but is it better than the bonding time you might spend with somebody online?
Well, no, at this point, the people that I get close to in a lot of instances are, like through the kids. And a lot of those are more superficial, I guess. Not superficial, but are more, like I guess like surface level,
Sure.
Out of necessity. I'm talking to this person because he's near me, and I'm here for the next hour waiting for my kid.
Yeah.
So I'm going to talk with this person, for however long. And maybe I won't because I have my phone with me, and maybe I'll be messaging someone.
But you might not like schedule a babysitter and then go for beers with them.
Yeah. So I feel like, the friends that I've made online or through gaming, we have shared interests. So like right away we have that bridge of, doing something that we enjoy together. And that has kind of spread out to other things, other topics, other interests. Maybe we don't like the same movies, Matt, but or the same great games like Remnant, or Matt, or
some people just have
Monster
no taste.
Hunter, Clint. But it definitely feels like the online is more about people that you mesh with initially through that same like, and spread from there. A lot of like people that I know in real life, like I'll say hi to them, but I definitely don't have, I feel that same kind of connection that I have with like, let me think who, like in Taco, like the Bizen, shout out to the Bizen.
Mm-hmm.
Me and him,
Hey.
like we talk every once in a while because of anime and mangas, and it's great, and there isn't really anyone else I feel like now in my life that I do that with, so every interaction I had with him, I remember and I think about like, oh, what's he said before, so I feel like, with this online, even though I never met this person, I have like a deeper understanding or connection, so like if I do meet them in real life, I feel like I know them, even though I may not have met them, face to face, like I'm sure that if I meet any of my online people in person, I'm giving them a hug. I don't care. So
I'm telling him to stay 6 feet away from me, but that's just me.
Well,
that's just me.
yeah. I mean, yeah. Wow. And a good hug is like a 7-second hug. You got to really get in there and kind of interlock the arms. Oh,
You're a bear hugger.
Give a good squeeze, like give like 2-3 good pumps before you let go.
You got to
so
come to Seattle
that I can't breathe
and hang out and give me one of those bear hugs.
I will.
So
hugs are great.
I like what you're saying there, like that last part there, Emiliano, about how like you feel
About
like
bear hugs?
a lot of the people that you talk to, well, no, okay, right before that, I don't like the bear hug necessarily, but you were talking about like how you feel like the people that you like talk to in Discord and you play games with and everything, if you met them online, you would basically just kind of go into your like continue with your friendship at just the same way as if it were still in Discord and everything like that, which I think is an awesome, and I think that can be true for a lot of people. And so I have a question for Crack on this one. Because like we mentioned, about a month ago, we actually met in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
What was it like? What was your, like, I guess, your expectations of who I was going to be versus who I ended up being, like, in real life? What was that like for you?
So on the expectations side, like, it's kind of corny to quote Marcus Brownlee from YouTube, but he said recently, because it stuck in my mind, that expectations are the thief of joy. I didn't necessarily learn from him when I heard that, but I definitely, because of certain things in my life, like, I generally tend to try not to have expectations because I like having fun. And certainly when you're hyped for a game or something, you know, in this context, we usually talk about games. When I'm hyped for a game and then it doesn't turn out how I wanted it to, you know, people get really salty. And I don't like being salty, you know, believe it or not.
Don't you? I don't know.
No, I don't actually.
Actually,
so,
that's a really good quote. Expectations are the thief of joy.
Yeah.
Huh. I like
Which
it.
I don't know if I fully agree with. I don't know
like
if it's
it.
a true statement, but it's certainly, you know.
Well, there's a truth to it.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I
like it.
Meeting you, I just didn't think about it really. I was excited to hang out, and I've learned about myself. I'm an introvert.
Same.
Kind of, right? There's nothing. I don't think there's actually like a spectrum. Like, I don't think that's a true thing that people are on the spectrum of introversion to extroversion. My dad is very kind of closed and introverted, and my mom is very, very social. And I've kind of realized that I am both of them. So it's kind of like I can really get down with hanging out with people. And for some things, like, I need it. Like, for working out, I cannot work out for myself. When I'm working out with other people, I'm like dedicated, I'm obligated, and I'm like into it. And I get there, I'm show up every single workout, right? But so meeting you, I was looking forward to it. Like, I was looking forward to a weekend at PAX, going to bars, you know, hanging out, having fun, playing games, doing whatever we're going to do. Just even like sitting in a hotel. Like, that was such an excellent weekend. It probably is like the best weekend I've had in years. I don't know how many years, but a lot.
Well, at least one, because 2020 was the year.
That's fair, yeah.
Oh, sure. At least, yeah.
The forgotten year.
At least 2 years, yeah.
2 years, yeah.
So, yeah, the thing that struck me, and I was talking to my buddy, other Matt, Washington Matt. So at PAX, we had, you know, I came up with one of my buddies who I'll actually talk a little bit about him because he's a perfect example of a internet friend and also real life friend. So it's kind of best of both worlds. But he came up to PAX with us, and his name is Matt. So no face, you're Texas Matt. And he is, you know, my coworker and Washington Matt. Or just, you know, yeah. So I forgot where I was going with that.
You're having a
I was telling
conversation
him.
with him?
Thank you. Yeah, I was telling him that the weekend, just hanging out with you guys, we both. This is so corny, so I'm sorry. It's like almost uncomfortable saying it, but you and Rachel are we just synced like 100%. It felt so natural. It was just an extension of all the time I've spent with you online, and we hung out, and we're already friends. Like, we didn't even need to worry about being in person. And we just immediately had fun. And that was an experience I've never had. There's always some kind of trepidation about meeting someone in person and who they are in real life. And I guess that's something I appreciate about you, to get even more corny, is that you're genuine. And I appreciate genuine people. So, thank you.
I don't know if I'm genuine, but I'm kind of the same all the time.
Okay, well,
maybe
okay,
a slight
fine.
difference.
Yeah, maybe I'm being a little bit too generous. I don't know. I'm not taking it back, though.
No, and that's fine. Like, and you can be as corny or as like brutal as you need to be with any of this. But no, because that was my question, because for me it was a little bit different experience, and like don't hate me yet.
No, sure.
Well, I mean, like hate me more, but whatever. For me, I did have that kind of, I don't want to say expectation, but I was like, man, what if crack is like completely different in real life? What if like I get there and he's got like, you know, like a mirror full of cocaine or whatever, and it's like just face first in it. I'm like, you know, or whatever. And so like that was kind of one of the things that I was like genuinely afraid of.
Right.
Maybe not
what
to
quirks
that
does he
extent,
have in real life
but-
that I can't see through the internet, kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right. Like it was very much so. And I think part of it is because of the fact that we sit here, like for those of you who think we plan out these episodes and all that sort of stuff, I guess we pretend to. Like we normally record for an hour, but the like hour previous we like plan with heavy air quotes around that. We basically just sit here and argue about random ass crap. And so like that's what it felt like, just a complete extension of, is just us absolutely arguing. And and I realized
savagely
Ronan,
arguing the debate of the century.
really, like it felt like kind of the just like that hour before where we're kind of trying to prepare for stuff. And that's you know, like Ronan, I know you probably have like real responsibility in life with like a family and children and things like that. But I feel like it would be the same way if you had been able to come down there, or you know, anything like that. If we'd been able to meet up anywhere, the three of us, I think, would have just kind of gotten along, I guess, like kind of like we do, you know, on the show. And so I think the whole like internet friends thing, it kind of goes back to like the Ronan, what he was talking about, proximity stuff. And so apparently this is just me telling Emiliano he's right. That's what this show is about today.
Yes.
You're agreeing with people a lot. I don't think we could say that.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe I'm
disagree that
sick.
often.
I don't know.
It's weird. It's weird.
Well, I get all my disagreeing out before the show.
Yeah. When we're talking about trials, yeah.
Yeah, anyway. But we are, even though we're not in physical proximity to each other, we are in emotional, intellectual, ecumenical proximity, whatever you want to call it, like
We have
to each
airtime
other.
together, yeah. Whether it's physically talking across a room or through the internet.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I think that whether it is a real life friendship, I hate saying it like that, but whether it's a non-internet, y'all know what I'm trying to say, whether it's a real life friendship or an internet friendship, I think that is the main key. You know, like having the common ground to you know, to talk to each other, whether it's games, animes, whatever other random channels and discords and Reddits and things like that people are in. Having that kind of common ground and continually interacting with someone, I think, is like the basis for having that kind of real world, real life interaction be very normal. And so yeah, Emiliano was right. But you know, that's in the show. Have a nice day, guys.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because I feel like there's still a lot of trepidation in regards to online friends, you know, because I don't know, there've been a lot of movies or where someone meets someone online and they get preyed upon, or it's like a kid
the
being
creep
preyed on by an
factor
adult,
is always
or
a
like
part
someone
of
or someone
the
goes to
narrative.
meet someone and they get killed or whatever. So I do enjoy, because like I've met two people in real life. Wes, when I was out in Texas, I met him, and it was great. We went and got some tacos. You know, we drank. It was great. I was out there for a conference for one of our student information systems that we had at the time, and then I met Sonic recently, and I loved it because like the week up to going to meet him, because I drove like 2 hours to go meet him.
Nice.
The week up to that, I was telling people, "Oh yeah, this weekend I'm going to meet my online friend who I've never met before. You know, in some back alley in some big city. It's gonna be great." So
Yeah.
and people would react when I said it kind of like that. I said it a little more creepily, but you know, they react thinking, oh, online friends,
I
that's a
intentionally tried to
bad
freak them
thing.
out.
Yeah.
You know, so I think there's still like a stigma in that regards, because you do hear and see a lot of that, you know, out there.
Yeah. It's mostly on TV, and TV hasn't caught up to the present. So
Yeah, but
Sorry.
there was that catfishing
I don't like TV.
show that kind of did the same thing too. I think that was
Yeah.
popular for a second.
I actually knew a guy who was on that,
Oh. Well,
but he got catfished hard. But anyways, that's beside the point.
Oh.
So this is a really random question. I swear it's on topic. Do either of you remember the movie Cable Guy with Jim Carrey?
Yeah.
No.
I gave you free cable. What have you ever given me? Yes, I remember it.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So if you haven't seen Cable Guy, it gets a bad rap. Like at the time, it got horrible reviews. Like people were
Yeah,
saying like,
it didn't.
yeah, well, like to the
was
extent where
great.
people were like, oh, it's gonna ruin Jim Carrey's career. And, like that's how bad people thought this movie was. It is aged insanely well, but it is part of the
Oh.
reason it was movies like that caused part of that, or kind of part of that stigma against online friends and things like that, because it was like the stranger that comes there and he is the again, this thing came out in like 1996 or whatever. He is like the prototypical internet nerd. Like he's that guy who, you know, you just kind of met through a friend of a friend or whatever because he did this or that. He's a cable guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the movie. But he goes on this big like monologue where he talks about, he's standing in like a giant satellite dish, a ground station, and
That's right.
he's
And his
and they-
girlfriend's hanging from like the some beam
Yes.
or something like that.
yes, it's wonderful. It's a great movie. You should definitely watch it.
It's good. It's good.
But he talks about is like, you know, the future is now. Like, you know, as soon every home will have its TV, computer, phone connected to the internet. And I can't remember exactly what he says, but he talks about you'll be able to like send a fax from work across the world or play Mortal Kombat with your friend in Vietnam and things like that. And at the time, people were like, this is the dumbest fucking movie I've ever seen. I hate it. And everyone just thought it's like, oh, those people who are into the internet are just weirdos that are going to kidnap your girlfriend and string them up in a satellite. Like that's what, you know, people took away from the movie. But it was like very like prescient about how the internet was going to like work and interact and connect the world in so many ways. And unfortunately, they kind of framed it in the through the lens of like some creeper who is literally stealing girlfriends and like, yeah,
That's funny.
there's a lot of weird stuff. That
He
happens in
says
the
all
movie.
these things, which I assume the writers were thinking like these are bad things. Like these seem good on the outside, but they're bad because they obviously wrote him as the bad, as a creeper. But that's, I hate that kind of stuff. That's like fear of the unknown and new things. And that stuff, like new is not bad. New can be bad, but it doesn't have to be bad. So like when people get, I don't know. That's too broad. That's too general. We can't. That's a big topic on its own. But that's hilarious, though. Sorry,
And it's
continue.
Sounds like Clint's getting a little salty there.
Jack Black is in that movie as a straight man. He does nothing hilarious really in that. I think he has
Wow.
a small dance at one point when he figures something out, but he's the straight man in that movie. And it's funny seeing it now because you know how crazy he is, but yeah.
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 It's interesting.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's a good movie.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll put it on my list. I was going to say it's interesting. It's interesting how that's turned out. And I wonder why. I think as services and the idea of communication online has evolved, because we have, I won't go into like a internet history, but we had text forums and then we had voice chat in the 2000s. And now we have things like Zoom and we've got gaming together online. And gaming together online's been there the whole time. It's just gotten a little bit more sophisticated. When our consciousness can be shared. Oh, well, a consciousness. That's such a weird way to put it. When we can share ourselves with other people on the other end of the globe, like Steven, New Zealand Steve. I don't know if he likes being called Steve, so I won't say that. But
Well, I think Steven is.
Steven, yeah.
Although I've always known him as Esteban, because that was his handle
That
before.
was his first gamer tag, yeah.
Yeah.
Or his gamer tag when we knew him first. So
yeah, when we
yeah,
first knew him, but
100%.
I
guess
here's a question for Matt.
Yeah.
Have you ever taken one of those tests that tell you your personality types? Because Crack mentioned he was introvert, and I took one, and it was like 4 different things, but it was definitely in the introvert kind of category thing.
Well, which personality test? Are you talking about Myers-Briggs? Are you talking about
maybe Myers-Briggs? I think I took it for a work thing at one point, like a get to know your coworker thing.
Same. What are you?
Introvert was the first. I remember I was introvert.
So you're an I.
Yeah, I something, and I forgot the rest of it.
Okay. I still remember mine. It's probably correct.
What's
INTP.
Yours? See, I feel like there's an M somewhere in mine.
Yeah.
But I don't remember. Funny thing is, right, the room, there was maybe like, I don't know, it was half girls, half guys, and I ended up on the side with all the girls. So I don't know what that says, but all the guys were extroverts, and a lot of the ladies, not all of them, but a lot of the ladies were introverts, and I was over on the introvert side. So
what?
I don't know if
Google's
that's
saying INTP is really rare.
Yeah.
You are a gem, Clint.
Oh,
Emiliano, he has a point. He has a
thank
point.
you.
No, but
I was trying to look up what INTP means.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry.
I forget. So have you taken one of those tests, Matt?
Yeah, I definitely have.
What are you?
And for those of you who are familiar with these Myers-Briggs things, which I'm going to go on the record and say I think these things are fucking BS.
Oh, for sure.
Like,
yeah.
They're
there's
just some way for those, like, whatever. It's just for people to be like, oh, you fit into this box, and so they can feel better about themselves.
Prejudge you based on this.
But see, I didn't look at it like that. I thought it was more of like a basis to kind of see how you interact with people. That's why I looked at it. But anyway,
yeah, that's so. The test itself is fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with it, but the way that people use it is pretty trash. So,
yeah, for sure.
But anyway, to answer the question, I am an INTJ.
Oh, we're all eyes.
Makes sense to me.
For those of you wondering, the J where I differentiate from Clinton on is the J stands for, or the P stands for perceiver,
yes,
right?
Yep.
The J is judging.
Yeah.
Whoa. That makes sense.
So,
which isn't inherently bad. I mean, judging allows you while making assumptions is not necessarily a good thing. When you make assumptions, you are more efficient, and you can reach a conclusion and take action a lot faster.
Are you reading this?
No.
Because wow, that is impressive.
Well, my conclusion is that I'm right,
and my
people just need to agree with me.
Yeah, my wife's is a J as well, and it's like, see the good in everything, and also see where things can be improved. And J has its pluses and minuses. I think where J is unfortunate is that you may miss out on things because you've already made a judgment, or you have a set of principles that you live by, and you see things through those lenses, right? And yeah. Anyway, let's not talk about Myers-Briggs a bunch.
Well, but
why did
I had a point for bringing that up, because introvert, for like I've always been, I guess, shy, and if I know someone, I'm more outgoing. But in a situation where I don't know people, I'm a lot more reserved. I don't put myself out there. Growing up, I'd say, I was shy. I wouldn't say I had a lot of friends, because I was shy, and I think I'd use that as an excuse. But not to get personal history, it definitely feels like the internet that we use, like our online chatting and our online gaming, has helped kind of help me open up more,
Mm-hmm.
because there's that anonymity that I think helps you act more like who you are because
There's no
people
stakes.
don't know you. Yeah. So, and then, so it's like, when I first met everyone, tacos and everything like that too, it was mainly through chat. We didn't do any video stuff. Like I would never do video stuff because I was like, I don't know these people. I don't want them to see me, but in talking with them online and chatting with them and stuff like that too, I feel that's helped me kind of, make more friends, like the online video gaming, with its kind of like, people can only hear your voice but not see you, and also with the video gaming, the working cooperatively to achieve a goal. And then once you achieve it, like everyone has that euphoric feeling, that high, that adrenaline rush.
Mm-hmm.
All that has helped me, I think, kind of open up more and become friends. Like prior to Destiny, I will almost guarantee you that I would not have gone to meet Wes because he was the first person I met in Texas. And I almost guarantee you I wouldn't have met him, because, like I was still like, I would only have talked to work friends and stuff.
Because he's from Texas.
Well, no. Well, but this is years ago, man. This is like
We're from Texas.
2010, maybe. I want to say we met 2008.
Wait,
It was
what?
a while ago. Yeah. I
You
oh,
knew
no, wait.
You knew
No,
Wes
no.
before Destiny?
No, then never mind. I'm sorry. I'm confusing, but it was many years ago, maybe 4
Quick
years ago,
math.
maybe 3 years ago.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
2015, 2016, kind of, maybe
Yeah,
2017.
yeah.
Was it pre-Destiny 2 or post-Destiny 2?
Pre-Destiny 2. It was
Okay,
Destiny
yeah,
1.
2017
at the
or
time.
higher. Or higher.
Yeah.
Or before.
Yeah. So,
Well,
so I definitely I think one good thing, and I know that there's a lot of bad along with the anonymity with trolls and like with,
yeah,
now we have the hate
Inhibitions
hate
are-
rates and all that stuff.
released and yeah.
Yeah, so it definitely feels like that old saying, like, how power enhances who that person is, So I may be shy, but I'm still nice. I don't even know, but so like, whereas people that get it, that are assholes in real life, end up being, assholes online. So, or can I say that? And jerks?
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine.
I think we just did. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Sorry.
I definitely share that experience where I was very closed to people in person. I mean, I just didn't know how to act in a social situation, right? Beyond, like, if we found something we could talk about, like video games, it has always been something you can talk to me about. Hence this channel. Then I could talk to people, but I definitely had trouble connecting with people or knowing, like, I guess I'm an overthinker, so I would like, oh, well, what if they think I suck, or what if I'm boring, or what if all the stupid things that a young kid thinks of. And so an INTP.
Yeah,
thanks. So when I actually started gaming online, like, that was one of those things, like, I had friends who would just like pop open voice chat on Call of Duty or Halo or something and just talk to people and be like, hey, cool. And then now they're friends and they're like, they'd hop on, I'd jump in the party and I'd just be quiet. And then when there's open chat, I wouldn't talk. And it's just, I would never. It's like, I don't know these people. I don't have the time to invest. Yeah. I would say that I don't have time to pretend personally. So I'm not going to do the small chat or the small talk. At least, when I was a kid, I didn't even know how to do small talk. But things like Destiny, where we had that scheduling system with the 100, and it was like, we all have a need, and it's to play with people, because Destiny is a social game. And then we grouped up. We had this big group, the Destiny Taco Clan, and suddenly, like, oh, well, these are all really cool people, and they all want to help. Maybe people aren't so bad. And then, I don't know. I guess it was just the ultimate icebreaker for me, and it's helped me realize, like, and I guess part of it is, I become an adult and I go out and get a job and I'm talking to people and I understand more about life and interacting in the world. But it definitely, now I will talk to people. Like, I play Warzone solo sometimes, like, not very often. I don't like playing without friends. But like the other night, it was like a couple weeks ago, I was playing solo because all my friends dropped off and I wanted to keep playing. And I met these two guys who were like partying. Basically, one of them got a raise and they were like super rambunctious and they're making super non-PC jokes. And it was, kind of not hilarious on some of them. And some of them were really hilarious. And we just queued up, we grouped up and we played the entire night. And now they're on my friends list and I probably will play with them again. I would never have done that before. I would never have made the kind of friends that I have. And actually now it's like, because of just the nature of my hobbies, all my friends are online. And I think it's a blessing that I'm able to meet any of them. And it's weird. And that's one of the things, it's like, I asked you that question because I actually wanted to know. It's like, do we, you, Emiliano, do we actually, what's the difference between a physical friend, like an in-person friendship, and an internet friendship? And is this the kind of thing that, like, is there a difference? And, is there something worth seeking in an in-person friendship? Which there probably is. I mean, you get to know all the quirks about a person when you're sitting next to the couch on them. Do they fart? do they laugh excessively at things? Or, the good and the bad. And I'm sure there's a lot that you kind of miss.
And there's less lag.
Yeah, less lag for sure. Yeah. Yeah, when you stream in real life, it's really high FPS.
It's HD as well.
Yeah. Super high definition. I don't know. It's one of those things that I never even thought about it, but it's like, is it sad? Like, do all the people that I assume are kind of just holding back and judging internet friends and being like, oh, they're creepy, that's weird to be friends with people on the internet. Obviously, they're not caught up to the times, people that think that. But at the same time, is there something to the in-person thing? Which,
no, I mean, a friend's a friend, be it, in person or not. Like,
yeah. Well, that's another thing, actually, that sort of feeds off of my reluctance to sort of engage, I guess, online, is that a friendship isn't just talking to somebody who likes the same things as you, at least for me.
Yeah,
right?
No. There's got to be more than that, but it's a start in a lot of instances.
Yeah, it is a start, but it's only a start. And so for me at least, you get as much as you put into a friendship. And at the end of the day, like, all the corny things you hear on shows or anime or whatever, it's like a friend's got your back and, you can depend on a friend and they won't, like, say things behind your back and they won't, obviously as an adult, you don't have time for that most of the time. And if they do, maybe you should rethink that friendship if they're talking behind your back.
I say things about Matt behind his back all the time.
Yeah, the damn brilliant.
I say things straight to Ronan's face.
But that's one of the things, I guess, when you're online. I don't know where I'm going with this, but it's something I've been thinking about, so I'm going to say it. When you're online, right? When you're at work and you have work friends, right? Work friends are never real friends until you put some effort into it, right? Outside of work. Mm-hmm. Like I guess I've had this happen. I used to work at a major retailing store. You can guess what industry. But and I was friends with them and I gamed with them online, and then I got a job out of college and then everything evaporated. Like zero communication, zero conversation, zero response to invites. Like, it was just crazy. And so that sort of taught me, like, work friendships aren't real until both people are, putting effort into it, I guess. Because I have work friends. I have work friends now, and we're real friends, for sure. So what was my question? I don't know. Would one of you like to take it away from me? Because I've reached the end of my thought.
Yeah, I thought it was, if online friends are different than real friends, than in-person friends.
Right.
But like you said,
sorry, thank you. You helped me.
Yeah.
So if a friendship is not only talking and spending time and being in proximity, whether it's airwaves on the internet or whatever, it's not a friendship until effort is given on both sides.
I agree. Yeah.
And
Well, I would say it's not a healthy friendship.
yes, right. And in an internet setting, you don't necessarily have to put anything on the line. You don't necessarily have to put any effort into it. So, and I certainly have had friends that have evaporated just from a change of context. Like we switch games and then they never talk to me again. Right.
But I mean, like, I feel like that could be like your old work friends, you know.
Yeah.
They were there while you were all together, but then as soon as you switch
It's the
games,
proximity.
switch jobs,
Yeah.
you know. But it happens in games too. If you switch games, they go away.
The context isn't there for, yeah. So it doesn't mean they're not necessarily friends, but I guess I don't have time for superficial friends. I do have time because I want to have fun with people, but at the same time, I'm looking for real friendship. And so there's always that third time we've said it this podcast, trepidation of, are these real friends or are these friends by proximity? And what's the difference? And are they valuable?
I think, and this may be a complete rabbit hole that we don't want to go down, but it's a very interesting thing because, like, you're right, that can happen in both contexts. Like, you're working with someone and from like 8 to 5 or whatever, you're great friends or whatever, but you don't see each other afterwards, you don't care, and you go get a new job and you never talk to them again. And then same thing in the internet, you know, you both play a game, you're friends while you're playing or whatever, and then, you know, they go buy the next FIFA or whatever and you can't afford it and you never see them again, right? In my opinion, the interesting kind of wrinkle that the internet throws into that is the kind of intentionally or mostly intentionally like one-way friendships that can occur with things like streams and podcasts and stuff like that, because you have this interaction with like a streamer
or a YouTuber
and like, oh,
any kind of content creator that shares themselves.
Well, but it's especially because you can feel that connection. Like you can feel that connection with like a TV character, like Rory from Gilmore Girls or whatever, right? Not that, you know,
that is a very specific pick.
That's just a random one I figured everyone could relate to.
No,
maybe offline.
Matt has
maybe
offline. Has some baggage from Gilmore Girls.
I just picked a random one everyone could relate to.
Whoa.
I'm getting dirty looks across the room.
Sorry.
Anyway.
Sorry, go ahead.
But because you, like I said, you can have that kind of like, oh, I connect with this character or whatever in this TV show. But when you have like a Twitch stream or something like that, and the person on TV, quote unquote,
on the screen,
can react to you and talks back to you and things like that. And so, and I think that is rightly so, where some of that, we'll use it again, trepidation for people are like, oh, internet relationships are unhealthy because they can become like very one-sided. It's like, yeah, I mean, I don't stream, or like I stream like once every 6 months or whatever. But yeah, I would be super friendly and nice to people. Like if I had 1,000 viewers or whatever, they're all paying me like $5 a month or whatever. Yes, I would be all kinds of like high fives to everybody, you know, and it can become, because I mean, I don't know, maybe it's like a fraternity. I don't know. You're paying for like friendships or whatever. And I can see where, you know, as an adult, you can see younger people or just vulnerable adults who might, you know, be like, oh, well, if I keep subscribing to this person or I keep giving them, you know, bits or whatever, they'll notice me. And then that triggers that dopamine release. And so you can get that very one-sided kind of friendship that I don't know has a counterpart in real life. And so for me, that's a very interesting phenomenon that has not really been studied because it's obviously very new. And for me, I think, okay, I was about to say it's really cool, but it's really terrible, but I think it's really interesting. So it's very cool in the fact that like that phenomena can happen and like the effect that it has on people's brains and stuff like that. it's terrible that it happens, but
Yeah.
it's very interesting kind
But
of thing.
it almost sounds like, when celebrities and their fans and how they get like the crazy stalkers and stuff. It almost to me sounds kind of like
Exactly.
that, where, the fan knows everything about the celebrity, like the actor, the singer, whoever, but the celebrity doesn't know anything about them. They just get their money or whatever, and there are tragic instances with that too, like Selena and oh gosh, the Beatle that died. I can't even think of the name. It's brain fart
Lennon.
right now. Lennon, yeah. But actually, as we've been talking here, I realized we keep saying friendship, and I don't think we mean friendship in a lot of these instances. I said friendships like that I meet at the park and stuff like that too, but those aren't friends. Those are just someone that I met or someone that I know, but I wouldn't say friend. Like, the parent that I'm talking with at the park, they're not a friend, and I said friends, and I shouldn't have said friends,
Yeah.
or like, and some of my coworkers, I wouldn't call them friends. They're coworkers, people I know. Some of my coworkers I feel are friends, and we go out happy hour and karaoke and stuff. But
I want to see Ronan doing karaoke.
oh, I love karaoke.
Same.
I love karaoke.
I don't.
One song that I want to do, but I don't do well, is "One Week" by Bare Naked Ladies. That part in the middle where he just kind of just goes crazy, chickadee China, Chinese chicken, have drumstick and brain chops chicken, scratching from the lights on.
It sounds like you're ready.
Yeah, no. But I'm mumbling. I'm stumbling across the words. So that's one song that I want to be able to sing and sing well, and I can't yet. Anyway,
Gotta practice.
but I would do karaoke. We should do karaoke if we ever get together. I love karaoke. Rock band is like karaoke. I love rock band. We do rock band, but so I friends. Like, I consider you guys friends. The guy I met at the park, that's not a friend. Even though I've
Right.
said friends, and I feel like we said friends in a lot of other scenarios, and those weren't real friends. Like, the coworkers at your retail shop. I wouldn't consider those friends. They're just coworkers or some people you played with.
Right.
Well,
it's the kind of thing where you spend 500 hours or more with them, right? You're playing. Minecraft came out when I was playing online with these people, and then it just stopped. That was the
500
weirdest
hours.
thing. What's that?
That does sound
At
weird.
least,
Like,
I mean,
that's
we had
a lot of
servers
time.
together. Yeah,
Wow.
it was a lot of time, and we talked and talked and talked, and we were on Skype. I mean, it was that time when Skype was the thing, and yeah, it was the weirdest thing ever. And it's probably not. I'm not talking about any fault or anything like that. I
Yeah.
probably had a part in that because I definitely moved on. And there's probably a two-way conversation about that I've never had. But it was certainly a little bit of a loss for me.
Yeah, 'cause that's a lot of
Well-
time. I mean, but anyway, sorry, what were you saying, Matt?
No, I was gonna say it's interesting that we got to this point because I think this is the sad, tragic part about friendship. One, yes, you're right. We probably I think we all kind of accept there's different levels of friendship, and we probably should have been a little more specific about that. But Clinton talking about how moving on and things like that. And Ronan, you and I have talked about this before, where friendship groups inevitably change. Like they just do, right? And that's like the sitcom Friends or whatever was on for in 15 years or something. I never liked the show, but one of the reasons I didn't, but I just didn't care for the humor. I'm not saying it was a bad show. It just wasn't my thing. But one of the things that always bothered me about it is I watched, an episode of the first season, and then you come back 13 seasons later and you're like, these motherfuckers are still the same.
Yeah.
Nothing has changed. And inevitably, your friend group is going to change. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. You see it all the time. Like Ronan, you probably saw it whenever, you had your first kid. Your friend group changed to people who probably you met at the park and stuff like that, because all of a sudden those commonalities and things like that may become looser and less and anything. And so even, you see with our group, our clan and things like that, as when Destiny 2 came out, there was a whole like exodus of people, and then as different releases and everything, people come in and out, and so you have these people that you're talking to all the time and considered really good friends, and they disappear. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, in my opinion. It's just a thing. Like, yeah.
Well, but I think here's the thing, that kind of a counterpoint to that, like, I may no longer play with some people or talk with them on the regular, but I feel like if I ever started playing with them again or start talking with them again, like it'd feel like, no time would have passed with our friendship. For me at least, maybe for them it's different. But, like Ben, for example, from,
Ben Fuego.
Ben Fuego, he left the group. Like with him, like I feel like, I could just talk with him, whatever. I don't know how strong of a friendship we have, but we played a bit back in D1 with PvP and stuff like that too. And he's someone I feel like I could, get online and talk. Him and Bob, I feel like I could get on and talk with them without any issue. Like I wouldn't feel weird jumping on with them and playing with them and talking with them, I guess. I think I even tried to meet up with Bob every once or twice, but it just our schedules have never meshed.
Yeah, I met Bob.
Oh yeah. Bob looks like your brother. I remember that. Or Bob looks like he is your brother more than your brother looks like is your brother.
Yeah, because he has.
I remember
black
that.
hair and.
Yes,
and we're similar heights.
And your brother has like bright, like red hair or something like that.
He has.
And he has like
no
a full
Asian
beard.
features at all.
Yes.
I disagree, but I see what you mean. Yeah.
But some people, like I had an old group that I played with in King's Fall. Like Mad Dog, Infamous, Moss.
Yeah.
And like I don't talk with Infamous as much, but I play with them a couple of times on Division. And we talk, and it's like we're talking just like old times. It's not like I feel like we've lost our friendship. It's just we're at different places, so we're kind of not in the same circles. But when our circles do kind of interact again with a lot of these people, I feel like we just pick up where we left off, sort of.
Yeah. I think that.
No, go ahead, Crack.
I was gonna say I think I'm the same way. In fact, I just met up with a friend who I haven't talked to almost 10 years.
Oh.
And we talked about why that was, and it was awesome. He lives in a different state now. And I've known him since I was like freaking 4 years old. So it's not quite fair, right? But we haven't talked in 10 years. We picked it up the exact same spot. It was amazing and it was awesome, and I'm super happy about it. I just was playing the Halo Infinite beta with him right before this podcast. And we're probably going to pick that up and be internet friends from now on instead of real life friends. But
that is real life friends. What are you talking about?
Well, okay, you know what I mean. In present, like in person friends. We're friends. But that's the thing for me, is that I'm looking for friendship.
Yeah. Not
acquaintance or proximity. Not people that I go to work with that I play Minecraft with. I'm looking for people who I can have fun with, and we can talk and pick it up no matter how much time has passed. Like we could join the same fire team and just pick up where we left off, and I guess that part about you meeting up with Infamous and Division, and it was like just like talking with him. I think that's like talking like with him like no time had passed, or whatever you said. That's probably part of his personality too, and that's cool, right? I think some people do think it's weird, or I think some people aren't necessarily ready to pick it up from where maybe they've changed a lot, maybe they're in a different position, and I guess that's the part where I'm like, my brain's like, okay, well, what if oh no. That's the worry. But I am always ready to pick it back up, and when the other person is ready to pick it back up too, that's just like that's actual friendship.
Yeah.
So, and that can be done on the internet.
Well, for me, it has been in multiple instances, with depending on the the game or the person or the whatever. So
Yeah. So, thanks for coming to
Well,
our TED Talk.
Yeah, pretty much. No, that I honestly don't know how to add on to that other than like, and this has probably been a more emotional like episode than I expected it to be, but like other than just like saying honestly, like I don't know what's ever gonna happen in the future, but y'all know where I live. Like we have a map with our like addresses on it. Like y'all are welcome to stop by any time, even if I haven't seen you in a decade. Just realize you might be sleeping on the couch. Like that's
Right.
sorry.
And also, he lives in Texas, so shout from the end of the driveway before you drive in.
That's not true.
I'm kidding.
I wouldn't be able to hear you. It's a long ways away.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But no, honestly, I think y'all are great friends, and I guess this is a pretty decent place to wrap up for the night. This is not exactly how I expect to be wrapping up, but here
how
we
did
are.
you expect to be wrapping up? What was your?
I honestly don't know, but not like
Okay.
this.
I don't know. I've enjoyed this. This is.
Yeah, absolutely. But for all of you who made it this far in our rambling about friendship and all that sort of stuff, first off, we appreciate you. Thanks so much for sticking with us. And what are your thoughts on friendships and online friendships, the stigmas that go with them, whether or not Cable Guy was a good movie or not? Did we miss the mark on anything? As always, you can let us know in the comments on YouTube, just Winning Sometimes Show. We have this video, other episodes. We are on Twitter at WSometimesShow, and we stream on Twitch occasionally at Winning Sometimes Show, which we're gonna stream IB next.
Sure.
Anyways, thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next episode.
Bye.